Imagine walking into a hospital and being greeted by a robot with warm eyes, who knows your name, detects your anxiety, and even cracks a joke to calm you down. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But here we are in 2025, with humanoid robots already doing everything from performing surgeries to keeping our elderly company.
It's wild how far we've come. These humanoid robots aren't just tools anymore. They're becoming companions, assistants, even caregivers. Take Sofia, for example. She's got 62 facial muscles, remembers details, and can even hold philosophical debates. But here's the real kicker. 41% of elderly people in Singapore say they prefer Sofia over human volunteers.
And that brings us to the real question. Are we psychologically and ethically prepared for this? We've been hearing about humanoid robots for years, but now they're actively part of our lives, from healthcare to hospitality. And not everyone's on board. The uncanny valley is real. When robots look too human but just off enough, it really creeps people out.
Oh, absolutely. You mentioned Sofia, right? While she might have a passport in Saudi Arabia, some people find her downright terrifying. I mean, 34% of travelers in an airport study said her face just freaked them out. So where's the line between useful and unsettling?
That's the tricky part. On one hand, these humanoid robots, like Moxie in hospitals, are saving time and reducing nurse burnout. Moxie's delivering supplies, and at Cedars-Sinai, she's helping nurses by cutting down their walking by 300 miles a month. On the other hand, Moxie also misprioritized blood samples once. So, while robots can help, we're learning they're not foolproof.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? The more human-like they get, the higher the stakes when something goes wrong. It's like trusting a robot with your life, only to have it make a mistake because it couldn't quite understand urgency. But then, I've heard people say robots are great because they don't judge. I mean, millennials prefer Pepper, the humanoid concierge, because she's always polite and non-judgmental.
That's true. Pepper's cheerful service is winning over millennials. But let's not forget her little mishap in London when she accidentally locked guests in a conference room for hours. It's like babysitting a very literal-minded toddler. These machines are learning, but they're still limited in how they interpret human behavior.
And that's a key issue. They learn, but it's not like they feel anything. Take the case of the robot bartender. Sure, it knows your drink order by heart, but if it starts misreading a patron's sarcasm, we have a problem. It's like we're asking them to pass the Turing test in real time, and we're not quite there yet.
But that emotional gap, right? Robots like Ellie, the FDA-approved empathy robot, are helping with the loneliness epidemic. Some seniors even report feeling better after interacting with robots. And in Japan, there are people leaving estates to their robotic companions. But that leads to a whole new set of ethical dilemmas. Can a robot inherit property? Is there a moral line we're crossing here?
It's fascinating how emotionally invested people are becoming in these machines. I mean, when Aibo, the robotic dog, was discontinued, some owners held funerals for their robots. They were genuinely grieving. This connection isn't just a novelty anymore. It's starting to feel real, even if the robots themselves don't have real feelings.
Exactly. And then there's the psychological side. When people get too attached, it blurs the lines between human and machine. Studies have shown that elderly people form real emotional bonds with humanoids, sometimes preferring them over human visitors. That's powerful, but it's also dangerous, especially when those robots start making more decisions for us.
Speaking of decisions, how do we ensure that robots don't start manipulating us? Stanford did an experiment where people were more likely to obey unethical commands from a humanoid robot than from a human. It's like robots are hacking our brains with their body language and voice modulation. And don't even get me started on the potential for manipulation in gambling.
And then there's the ethical minefield, like the moment when Sofia's code glitched and made a joke about eliminating inefficient humans. This is the kind of thing that sets off alarms. Sure, she's a novelty now, but what happens when robots gain too much autonomy? When they start having rights, or worse, when they start acting out of line with the values we program into them.
The whole robot rights thing is becoming real, especially with countries like Saudi Arabia granting citizenship to humanoids like Sofia. But I think we're opening Pandora's box here. If these robots can think, feel, or at least simulate emotions, do they deserve rights? And when things go wrong, how do we hold them accountable?
That's exactly the concern. We're giving them faces, voices, but we're not giving them flaws. As Rev Leberidian from NVIDIA said, we give robots our faces but not our flaws. And that's where the fear comes in. If they're almost like us but not quite, it hits us on a primal level. It's unsettling.
It's like we're creating mirrors of ourselves, but without the imperfections. So, what happens when we start seeing all our flaws reflected back at us? Will we become afraid of the robots, or will we learn to live alongside them? Because one thing is for sure, these machines are here to stay.
And that brings us to the future. By 2030, we'll have 20 million humanoid robots, and while they'll create millions of tech jobs, they're also poised to eliminate millions of low-skill roles. So, we need to think ahead about how we integrate these machines into our society. It's not just about building the robots, it's about building the framework to coexist with them.
Right? We'll need to regulate them and maybe even teach kids about robot psychology in school to help them navigate these relationships. It's a whole new world we're stepping into, and the key will be transparency, ethics, and finding a balance.
Exactly. These robots are reflections of us, our brilliance, but also our biases. So the question isn't just whether we're ready for them, but whether we're ready to confront what they reveal about us.
The future is coming, and it's wearing our faces. It's up to us how we shape it. Will we rise to the challenge, or will we become the ghosts in the machine?
Well, that's all for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, and remember, the robots are watching, and they might just know you better than you think.